The reunion with Guilliman. The Emperor rarely speaks, as each word drains the power needed to sustain the Astronomicon and seal the webway. So when he does decide to break his silence, it usually signifies a pivotal moment in the history of the Imperium. When a Primarch returns from 10,000 years of near-death stasis and arrives at Terra's gates, the silence between father and son has to break somehow. What happened when Roboute Guilliman entered the Golden Throne's chamber is one of the most deliberately unresolved moments in current 40k lore. Guilliman is the Primarch of the Ultramarines, one of the Emperor's 20 sons engineered from his own genetic and psychic essence. For 10,000 years, he sat frozen in stasis inside the Temple of Correction on Macragge, his body placed there after Fulgrim mortally wounded him at the Battle of Thessaly, slashing his throat with a chaos-tainted blade. His resurrection required both Khal's specially engineered armor to heal the physical wound and the power of the Eldar death god Ennead. After returning, Guilliman traveled to Terra and eventually stood before his father for the first time in 10,000 years in the throne room itself. He entered the chamber and emerged a day later surrounded by cold, glowing silver mist, his expression completely unreadable. His only recorded comment was that he had received everything he needed from his father. The audience of Alicia Dominica. One of the rare moments the Emperor spoke was his audience with Alicia Dominica, the leader of the Brides of the Emperor. Dominica is the founder of the Adepta Sororitas. She and her sisters began their journey as the Daughters of the Emperor, a fierce warrior order from the world of San Lior. During the Age of Apostasy, Goj Vandire tricked them into becoming his personal bodyguard through a fabricated miracle. He renamed them the Brides of the Emperor, and from that point on, they served as his guards, nurses, entertainers, and even executioners. The Adeptus Custodes eventually intervened to stop Vandire. Centurion Longinus entered the bride's chambers unarmed, spending an hour arguing that Dominica was serving evil. When words failed to break Vandire's psychological grip, Longinus made a radical move. He escorted Dominica and her 5 companions through the Imperial Palace, past the Eternity Gate, and directly into the Sanctum Imperialis to stand before the Golden Throne. Sworn to absolute secrecy, Dominica emerged from the audience with her hair turned completely white and immediately renounced her service to Vandire. She gathered her sisters, told them of his treachery, and led them straight to his audience chamber. There, she drew her power sword and ended the rain of blood with a single stroke. This is the founding moment of the Adepta Sororitas, and at the center of it is a silence nobody has ever broken. Whatever the Emperor did or said to her, it was powerful enough to turn absolute loyalty into immediate, decisive violence. The guidance to Sebastian Thor. After 70 years of the Reign of Blood, the Church was shattered and the Imperium was in ruins. Rebuilding required divine guidance. For Sebastian Thor, that guidance came straight from the Golden Throne. Sebastian Thor began as a simple preacher from the world of Dimimar. During an era of corruption and religious terror, he built a massive movement called the Confederation of Light to challenge High Lord Goj Vandire. After Alicia Dominica executed Vandire, Thor took on the massive task of rebuilding the Church. He issued the Decree Passive, which banned the Church from keeping forces of men under arms. He then reorganized the all-female Adepta Sororitas to serve as the Church's military arm. These rules established the foundation of the institution for millennia. Lore sources credit the Emperor himself with guiding this massive rebuild. Whether through a vision, a voice, or a psychic message, this divine guidance shaped Thor's creations. His reforms have lasted for thousands of years without major changes. The vision to Rogal Dorn. During the Horus Heresy, a massive trader fleet sailed toward Terra to destroy the Imperium. Right before this historic battle began, the Emperor sent a secret message to the son he chose to protect the planet. Rogal Dorn is the Primarch of the Imperial Fists, and during the final years of the Horus Heresy, he held overall command of Terra's defenses. With Horus's forces approaching and the siege about to begin, the Emperor tasked Dorn directly with the fortification of the Imperial Palace. No historical records show exactly what the Emperor told Dorn. However, Dorn later admitted that the brilliant defense plans he used went far beyond his own military knowledge. The Imperial Palace's defenses held against an invasion force that should have been too powerful for them. The chaos-empowered war host that had been grinding through the galaxy for years did not break through Dorn's final walls. The farewell to Sanguinius. Sanguinius is the Primarch of the Blood Angels, and he occupies a special position in the history of the Horus Heresy. He was the one Primarch who saw his own death coming. His precognitive abilities had shown him his fate clearly enough that he walked toward it anyway. When Horus lowered his flagship's void shields and the Emperor prepared to board, the original plan was for Sanguinius to remain on Terra and command the Loyalist forces there. Sanguinius refused and told the Emperor directly of the prophetic death he had foreseen at Horus's hands, and declared his intention to defy that fate by confronting his traitorous brother himself. They boarded the Vengeful Spirit as part of a larger assault force. The Emperor, Dorn, Valdor, Sanguinius with the Sanguinary Guard, and Blood Angels veterans. Horus used his warp-fueled powers to scatter them throughout the massive warship. Sanguinius and his Blood Angels were the only boarding party to reach their intended target, and Horus deliberately allowed Sanguinius to reach him, planning to turn him to chaos before his father arrived. Sanguinius refused, and the duel that followed ended with his death. Before any of that happened, in the moments before the boarding, the Emperor had a conversation with Sanguinius for the last time. The Audience of Hector Rex. Hector Rex is an Inquisitor Lord of the Ordo Malleus, the branch of the Inquisition dedicated to hunting demons and chaos corruption. His record includes some of the most significant anti-chaos operations in the 41st millennium, among them the Siege of Rax. Among the distinctions on his record is a title almost nobody in the Imperium has ever held, Auditory Imperator, meaning the honor of being alone in the Emperor's presence. Rex entered the chamber housing the Golden Throne, knelt before it, and communed with the Emperor directly. Whether the Emperor communicated in something recognizable as words or through psychic impression has never been recorded. The voice to Inquisitor Greyfax. Inquisitor Lord Katarina Greyfax of the Ordo Hereticus provides one of the most detailed first-person accounts of what encountering the Emperor actually feels like in the current era of the setting. As a hunter of heresy and corruption within the Imperium, Greyfax is one of the very few living people to experience direct contact with the Emperor's presence inside the throne room. What distinguishes Greyfax's description is the profound uncertainty at its core. She explicitly states that she could not be certain whether the entity on the Golden Throne is still human, while other accounts on this list involve the Emperor communicating with a clear, legible purpose, like guiding a defense, shaping an institution, or issuing commands. Greyfax's account offers no such reassurance. Instead, it presents a chilling picture of an immensely powerful, barely human consciousness. The message to Cypher. Cypher is known by many titles like the Lord of the Fallen, but his true identity is one of the galaxy's biggest mysteries. He is one of the original Dark Angels who turned traitor during the Horus Heresy. Because of this, his former chapter has hunted him for 10,000 years. Cypher carries a mysterious sword that he never draws in battle. Many believe it is the Lion Sword, which belonged to his Primarch. For 10 millennia, Cypher has been working his way toward Terra. Most believe he wants to present the sword to the Emperor on the Golden Throne, to ask for forgiveness for some other secret reason. During the Terran Crusade, Cypher made his move. He helped rescue Robote Guilliman from enemy captivity, and in exchange demanded passage to Terra and direct access to the Golden Throne Room. Guilliman agreed, and then broke his word the moment they arrived, ordering the Adeptus Custodes to arrest Cypher and his fallen companions the second they stepped outside the main chamber. Cypher and his allies escaped, fought their way past pursuing Dark Angels and Assassins, and reached the Bridge of Ascension, the final corridor to the throne room itself. There, a wounded custodian warden named Hecaron blocked his path. Hecaron had just received a direct vision from the Emperor. He gave Cypher a message of exactly 2 words, "Not yet." Cypher accepted the Emperor's order, turned around, and left the Imperial Palace. The last command to Constantin Valdor. In the aftermath of the Horus Heresy, as the Golden Throne became a permanent life support machine, the Emperor gave one last known direct communication to the man who had stood closer to him than almost anyone else alive. Constantin Valdor was the first Captain General of the Adeptus Custodes, and in that role he was more than a guard commander. He was the Emperor's personal custodian, one of the very few beings in the Imperium who knew him as a living person rather than an institution or an idea. He had been present through nearly every major event from the unification of Terra through the close of the Horus Heresy, and his relationship to the Emperor was one of direct personal service spanning decades. After the Golden Throne became what it became, the Emperor communicated his final known direct commands to Valdor. Whatever those commands were, they moved quickly. Valdor departed Terra shortly after. He left behind only 2 words, only in death. The meditative visions of the Emissaries Imperatus. The Emissaries Imperatus are a specific group within the Adeptus Custodes. They stand out for one major reason. A few of them hear the Emperor's voice during deep meditation. When they receive these messages, they usually deliver a warning, a piece of advice, or a powerful relic to a specific battlefield commander across the galaxy. To understand why this is special, you have to understand the Custodes. Unlike regular humans in the Imperium, they do not view the Emperor as a god. He created each of them personally. They fought right alongside him when he was alive, knowing him as a real leader with distinct goals and personality traits. Because of this, their bond with him is completely different from a regular worshipper. These specific warriors do not view their visions as holy magic. Instead, they see them as the Emperor using his mind to send practical commands from the Golden Throne, just like he used to do in person. Other Custodes are skeptical and do not view these chosen brothers as holy prophets. The group simply reports the messages, acts on them, and leaves it at that. This is the only example where communication with the Emperor is still happening today, rather than being a past event. It is also the only time people treat his words as a checklist of tasks instead of a holy experience. This shows how the Custodes think differently from the rest of the galaxy. Thanks for watching until the end. Click here to check out another video and see you in the next one.